Yeah, I want to make a video of this new stove I've been using. This is a Toaks small wood stove that I've made a lot of modifications to make it work a lot better. Um, First one starting with this burn chamber at the bottom. What I've done here is I've added some holes toward the bottom part of the burn chamber to supplement the air that it gets through the bottom. I've got these holes in the bottom, which are fine, but I find they're just not quite enough. So I've also cut smaller holes here in the bottom. And of course, there are the larger holes on top to allow the air to come in to get the secondary burn. The other thing about these small holes in the bottom is I find that you really need a plate here underneath the stove to make sure that you actually get a gap between the surface and this air inlet. If you put this without a plate on a surface, so like the ground, you can get, it's really easy for these holes here to be covered. So you need to put this, I find it really really have to put it on top of some sort of plate. This is a small metal plate I got from some container that I removed. You have to use steel. You can't really use aluminum because aluminum will melt, but the steel works just fine. So the way the stove goes together, just like the Toaks stoves, all the other Toaks stoves go together. Except I've also made some other modifications to this stove. One modification here, well, the most important is that I've cut away a bunch of the top part here. This stove was about another half high, like twice as high as it is now. I removed that upper part because I found it made the stove, which is crazy tippy that way. Plus, also I found out that the pot was so far away from the flames that it was terribly difficult to cook with it. So by shortening that, I was able to get able to cook a lot better. In addition to that, I also, of course, I had to modify the feed port in the front. That had to be changed. I had to basically drill down, cut down to these holes here, these other additional breathing holes, and cut in a feed port. And then I also added a lot of extra holes here. These are holes I drilled out myself. These are the holes that normally come with it. And then I added these extra holes to improve the breathing. And now it works more like a solo stove or a bush buddy. But the weight is really, really good. It fits really well in this pot. It's now with the being shorter like this, it's much more stable. And with this platform here, I'm able to put like small frying pans up here to be able to cook with it. So it's been a really good stove for me so far. I haven't taken it on an outing yet. I've used it on a bunch of day hikes and at home, kind of in the backyard, messing with it. But I haven't. I'm going to probably take it on a backpacking trip here, probably in the spring. One thing I take with it is I have a small little plastic container here. I've got full of tinder to make it quicker to start the fires. And there's a lot of videos on how to start this stove. And it's no different than the other Toaks, the other Toaks stoves, where you're gonna fill up the burn chamber here with wood, and then you're gonna pile up here on top part here like a starter fire. And then it burns down, and then you get the secondary burn. But with the shorter height, it boils so much better. The flame's controlled so much better. It's less tippy. It's lighter too. That's another advantage. It makes the stove a little bit lighter, so it's more closer in weight to my canister stove system. So I can, it's more comparable. So I can use it with it. Something else I do with the stove is I also carry it inside this little plastic. This is just a pop bottle, a 2-liter pop bottle that I store the stove, a whole assembly inside of that, and I have a lid here. Use this as my little fire bucket when I'm in camp or for other things. Alright, well, there's my Toaks stove. You'll probably see this more and more in my adventures. I'm going to try using it when I can. It's not replacing my canister stove. It's not replacing my Esbit. I think it definitely has a place. Probably when you've got really buggy conditions, having a fire is really nice. And I just like having a fire. It gives you something to do. Kind of feeding the fire is kind of fun. All right. Well, I'll see you guys on the trail. Bye-bye.